You know that faint, persistent ringing in your ears that sometimes feels like a distant whistle or hum? For some people, it's merely a temporary annoyance. But for many seniors, this constant background noise is far more unsettling, like an uninvited guest who won't leave. If you've been living with ongoing ringing, buzzing, or hissing in your ears, it's possible your body may be trying to warn you about something deeper beneath the surface. Many individuals over 65 dismiss ear ringing as a harmless symptom of aging or something to learn to live with. Yet the reality is that this phenomenon, often called tinnitus, can sometimes hint at circulatory system concerns that deserve your attention. It's not meant to scare you, but rather to highlight that our bodies have subtle ways of signaling when things aren't quite right. Imagine easing into your favorite chair after a long day, expecting a moment of peace and quiet, only to realize the quiet isn't quiet at all. The noise is still there, following you from room to room, never giving you a break. It disrupts your rest, steals your focus, and can chip away at your sense of calm. This is a struggle many older adults face daily. Whether you've just started experiencing a soft whine in your ears or have endured years of persistent ringing, recognizing what it may reveal about your blood flow and vascular health could be transformative for both your comfort and overall wellness. Why does this matter so much for seniors? One key reason is that circulatory issues can sneak up on us with subtle warning signs. Over time, our blood vessels and heart may not function as efficiently as they once did. This is normal to some extent, but it can also exacerbate or cause new health problems. Addressing these challenges head-on means protecting not only your hearing, but also your independence, energy, and long-term quality of life. By taking a proactive stance now, learning to spot and address early indicators that something deeper could be going on, you position yourself to enjoy more freedom and vitality in the years ahead. Throughout this conversation, we'll look at 5 essential ways tinnitus and circulatory concerns overlap, and how seniors can adapt their daily choices to reduce discomfort, boost circulation, and support better hearing health overall. Whether you suspect your ear ringing is circulation-related or not, you'll gain actionable strategies to improve your wellness from the inside out. We'll explore how simple adjustments to physical activity can enhance blood flow and mitigate that maddening noise, discuss how diet impacts both circulation and auditory function, delve into the role of stress and medication, and highlight the power of consistent hearing checkups. My background involves years of working alongside older adults, gathering insights from reputable sources, and seeing firsthand how simple changes can significantly shift one's experience with tinnitus. While I'm not here to diagnose or prescribe, I can share what I've observed and learned. I've seen seniors reduce that intrusive ringing from a distraction to a minor hum, simply by focusing on their cardiovascular well-being and adjusting certain lifestyle habits. As you listen, I encourage you to pause and reflect on how each suggestion resonates with your own circumstances. Maybe you've struggled with the idea that it's just my age, or felt unsure whether a doctor would take your concerns about ear ringing seriously. By the end of this discussion, my hope is that you'll feel empowered with fresh insight. Most importantly, I want you to realize that you can take steps, big or small, to potentially calm the ringing and protect your circulatory health in the process. Let's begin by exploring some common assumptions about tinnitus that might be keeping many seniors from addressing a hidden circulatory challenge, and then we'll move on to specific, realistic steps that can make a profound difference. One of the biggest misconceptions I've encountered is the idea that constant ear ringing in later life is simply part of getting older. You might have had friends shrug it off, or even a family member who tells you, "What do you expect at our age?" This assumption can be comforting in its simplicity, but it may also prevent you from looking deeper. Take Marion, who's 72 and lives alone. She put up with a persistent, high-pitched hum in her left ear for years, dismissing it as an annoyance that comes with age. Even though she had regular checkups, she never specifically mentioned the noise to her doctor because she believed there wasn't much to be done. But Marion's nightly routine revealed something else. She was getting up more frequently to use the bathroom and noticed her ankles would swell slightly by the end of the day. She simply adjusted her socks to be looser and assumed the swelling was another fun part of getting older. It wasn't until her granddaughter, studying nursing, insisted she mention these changes at a medical visit, that they discovered her blood pressure was higher than usual. Further evaluation pointed to circulation inefficiencies that likely contributed to her symptoms, including the constant ringing. This highlights a powerful insight. Tinnitus in seniors can sometimes reflect underlying vascular issues or elevated blood pressure. When the blood flow near the delicate structures of the inner ear is compromised, the result can be that incessant ringing or buzzing sensation. Recognizing the possibility of a circulatory link is the first step to seeking solutions that target the root cause, not just the symptom. If you've been attributing your ear ringing strictly to old age, it might be helpful to take a broader look at your overall cardiovascular health. This doesn't have to be overwhelming. Start by scheduling a chat with a trusted healthcare professional. Mention the tinnitus and also discuss other subtle changes, like swollen legs, occasional dizziness, or feeling more winded than usual when you climb stairs. Even if you think they're unrelated, these clues can help paint a more accurate picture of how your circulatory system is functioning. Beyond medical checkups, a practical step you can take is to monitor your blood pressure at home if you have a device, or at your local pharmacy if one is available. Pay attention to any spikes or patterns, such as readings that are consistently higher in the evening. This practice offers peace of mind and a clearer starting point for discussions with your healthcare provider. Knowing there may be more to the story than simple aging can give you the motivation to address any concerns early, preventing more serious complications down the line. Shifting your view on tinnitus from just an aging ear to potential sign of circulatory imbalance can bring a sense of relief. You finally have a clue to investigate, and often even small improvements in circulation can reduce the intensity of ear ringing. When Marion started taking steps to manage her blood pressure, like adding low-impact exercises and modest dietary adjustments, she noticed her ear's high-pitched hum gradually became less bothersome. The relief she felt went beyond her hearing. There was a newfound sense of control and optimism that she could protect her health in multiple ways. Now that we've laid the groundwork by challenging the assumption that constant ear ringing must be purely age-related, let's consider how specific changes to your daily routine might help address both tinnitus and circulatory concerns. Another common myth about tinnitus is that rest and relaxation alone will solve the issue. Essentially, just learn to tune it out. While managing stress does play a vital role in alleviating ear ringing, the misconception lies in believing that stress relief alone is enough. Take Ken, 77, who had always led a fairly active life, but assumed that in retirement he'd finally get to unwind. When he started noticing a faint ringing in his ears, he tried meditation and deep breathing exercises at home. While these strategies helped him feel calmer, the ringing persisted, especially at night. What Ken discovered is that inactivity can ironically make tinnitus worse, particularly if the cause is linked to reduced blood flow. Sitting too much diminishes circulation throughout the body, including to the inner ear. Despite his best efforts to relax, Ken found that the ringing would intensify if he spent long periods seated, reading, or watching TV. Once he integrated gentle stretching and frequent movement breaks, he noticed a surprising difference not only in the ear noise but also in how alert and energized he felt. This new perspective is supported by the fact that our circulatory system thrives on movement, especially in older age, when natural blood vessel elasticity can start to decrease. Light to moderate exercise like walking, swimming, or low-impact aerobics helps keep your heart pumping steadily and your blood flowing more efficiently. This can translate into better nutrient delivery to the cochlea, the part of the inner ear responsible for hearing. If you're dealing with mobility limitations or chronic conditions, you can still find ways to move that suit your comfort level. Maybe it's standing up and walking around the house every hour, doing a few arm circles, or practicing gentle chair yoga. Even small bursts of activity can accumulate into meaningful benefits over time. Not only might it reduce the sensation of ringing, but physical activity also boosts mood, helps maintain balance, and can even improve sleep quality, critical factors for overall senior well-being. Remember, though, that any new exercise routine should be discussed with a healthcare professional, especially if you have a history of heart issues or joint pain. The key is consistency and gradual progression. As Ken found, once you start interspersing your day with short, purposeful movements, you may notice that the ring in your ears feels a little more distant. Plus, there's a real emotional lift in knowing that something as simple as a brief walk could help you feel more vibrant and less plagued by that nagging noise. So if you've been relying solely on relaxation techniques, consider pairing them with daily movement. It's the combination of stress management and physical activity that can make a tangible difference for both your ear health and your cardiovascular system. While relaxation helps calm the mind and lower blood pressure, physical movement promotes circulation, which can address one of the root contributors to tinnitus. Does this resonate with your experience so far? If you've noticed that staying active seems to help with ear ringing, or if you have any reservations about starting new activities, consider sharing your thoughts with a friend or a healthcare provider. Often, talking about these personal discoveries can pave the way for even more tailored solutions. Another deeply ingrained myth is that what you eat rarely impacts your hearing. The truth is, many seniors are unaware of the intricate connection between a nutritious diet, blood vessel health, and inner ear function. Picture Walt, age 74. He grew up on home-cooked meals full of love, but not always low in salt or saturated fats. Over the years, he developed a bit of a sweet tooth. By the time he hit his 70s, Walt battled borderline high blood pressure and heard a persistent hiss in his ears that made it difficult to concentrate during his daily crossword puzzle. After a routine checkup, Walt's doctor recommended moderating his sodium intake and focusing on foods that support cardiovascular health. With some reluctance, Walt cut back on processed snacks and gradually reduced his sugar intake. He also added more green leafy vegetables, fatty fish like salmon, and fresh fruits to his diet. Within a few months, the hiss in his ears wasn't as sharp and intense. Although it didn't disappear entirely, he found it less distracting and more manageable. Walt was surprised to realize his diet had played such a pivotal role in fueling or cooling down that incessant noise. Why does this happen? High salt intake can contribute to elevated blood pressure, which in turn can put extra strain on the delicate blood vessels that feed the inner ear. Refined sugars and unhealthy fats can similarly clog or stiffen arteries over time, reducing efficient blood flow. On the flip side, foods rich in antioxidants, like berries, and healthy fats, like omega-3s, can help protect the lining of blood vessels and support overall circulatory function. If you're someone who has enjoyed certain comfort foods for decades, the idea of changing your diet might feel daunting, but small, steady improvements can go a long way. Instead of drastically eliminating favorites, consider simple swaps, choosing low-sodium broth or seasoning blends instead of salt, opting for fresh fruit to satisfy a sweet craving, and aiming for one extra serving of vegetables each day. These little shifts add up, especially for circulatory health. It's also wise to stay mindful of hydration and alcohol intake. Dehydration can sometimes thicken blood, making circulation less efficient. Excessive alcohol, meanwhile, can dilate blood vessels and affect blood pressure regulation. By staying hydrated, whether that's plain water, herbal teas, or fruit-infused water, and moderating alcohol consumption, you bolster your body's ability to deliver oxygen and nutrients to the ears. When diet is approached not as a restrictive set of rules, but rather as a sustainable lifestyle shift, the emotional payoff can be huge. Many seniors notice they feel lighter, more energetic, and take pride in the proactive approach they're taking for their health. If you approach each meal with the mindset of, how can this nourish my body and potentially reduce that ringing in my ears? You transform eating from a habitual routine into a meaningful act of self-care. Let's pause here and think about your own meals. Do you notice changes in your tinnitus after certain foods or beverages? Sometimes a small journal can help you track patterns between your meals and how loud the ringing seems, giving you valuable clues on what supports or aggravates your circulation and ear health. A common assumption many seniors hold is that medications, particularly over-the-counter remedies, have minimal impact on tinnitus or circulation. Yet the truth is more nuanced. Different prescriptions or over-the-counter products can affect blood pressure, blood flow, and even the delicate cells of your inner ear. Consider Dolores, who's 80 and has been juggling multiple medications for chronic conditions such as diabetes and arthritis. Over time, she noticed her ears would ring more fiercely after she started a new pain medication. However, it never occurred to her that the two could be related. Only when she mentioned her worsening tinnitus to her pharmacist did the connection become clear. This particular medication sometimes raises blood pressure or alters fluid balance, potentially exacerbating ear ringing. Dolores's pharmacist coordinated with her doctor to adjust the dosage and timing. Surprisingly, the noise in her ears softened. This shift taught Dolores that it's important to actively review medications if you're experiencing persistent ear ringing. Additionally, certain medications classified as ototoxic can have direct effects on hearing health. While many seniors need these medications for serious health conditions, a careful balance is crucial. It's not about stopping essential treatments, but rather collaborating with healthcare professionals to see if there are alternatives or safer dosages. Regularly reviewing your medication list, particularly if you notice changes in your hearing or circulation, can be a game changer. Practical steps might include scheduling a medication checkup with your primary care provider or pharmacist. Bring a list of all prescriptions, vitamins, and over-the-counter drugs you take. Discuss any side effects you've been experiencing, especially tinnitus. Sometimes simply spacing out medications differently throughout the day can reduce a spike in blood pressure or fluid retention that could trigger extra ringing in the ears. Emotionally, taking charge of your medication management can offer a sense of relief and empowerment. Rather than feeling like a passive recipient of pills, you become an active participant in fine-tuning your treatment plan. Be sure to mention any supplements or herbal products as well, since some can interact with prescriptions in ways that influence circulation. Of course, you should never alter your medication regimen on your own. Always consult with a qualified healthcare professional before making changes. But do embrace your right to ask questions, share your concerns, and find solutions that minimize unwelcome side effects. In the best-case scenario, you reduce not only the ringing in your ears, but also the risk of other complications tied to polypharmacy. Lastly, there's a common belief that hearing tests and specialized interventions only matter if you have major hearing loss or require hearing aids. But persistent tinnitus, especially in seniors, warrants regular checkups that go beyond the usual "can you hear me now" approach. Consider Carol, who at 76 had been dealing with a constant low roar in her ears for years. She assumed that because her hearing seemed fine, there was no point seeing an audiologist. In reality, a comprehensive hearing evaluation can uncover subtle hearing deficits and pinpoint the nature of tinnitus more accurately. An audiologist or ENT ear, nose, throat specialist can also help rule out other medical reasons for that ringing, such as earwax buildup or an underlying infection. From there, they might guide you towards sound therapy or specialized programs to help train your brain to pay less attention to the noise. Many seniors find that the combination of addressing potential circulation issues, monitoring medications, and getting professional hearing assessments yields the most complete relief. You might also learn about modern hearing aid technologies that can mask or reduce the prominence of tinnitus. These aren't the bulky devices of decades past. Modern hearing aids can be discreet and technologically advanced, providing multiple functions that might also improve your overall sound clarity in social settings. Even if you don't have pronounced hearing loss, some of these interventions can bring significant relief. From an emotional standpoint, acknowledging that you need a hearing assessment can be a big step. Sometimes there's pride and a sense of denial involved. I can still hear. I don't need a hearing aid. But remember, an evaluation doesn't obligate you to use a device. It simply provides knowledge, and knowledge can help you make better informed decisions about your overall ear health. If you're hesitant, think about the daily frustration that constant ringing causes. Imagine the possibility of even a slight improvement and how freeing that could feel. Often, the simplest path to relief starts with taking that first step, a thorough exam by someone who specializes in hearing health. All these strategies, reconsidering assumptions about age, introducing regular low-impact exercise, making mindful dietary choices, reviewing medications, and getting professional hearing assessments, work together to tackle the circulatory components that may be fueling your tinnitus. By layering these steps, you enhance not only your ear health, but your entire well-being. What have you found most surprising so far? Take a moment to reflect on whether any of these points resonate with changes you're noticing in your own day-to-day life. Or think about a friend who might be coping with persistent ringing but hasn't connected the dots to possible circulation issues. Sharing what you've learned could be a powerful way to help someone else. To bring our journey full circle, it's worth revisiting the essential takeaway. The constant ringing in your ears that you may have chalked up to simply aging could hold a deeper message about your circulation. By exploring potential links and taking preventive measures, you can improve more than just your hearing. You can protect the vitality of your entire cardiovascular system. It's easy to set aside ear ringing as an inevitable consequence of growing older. But by now you can see there are actionable steps that may reduce that relentless noise, from boosting your daily movement to optimizing your diet, staying on top of your medications, and seeking professional hearing evaluations. Even subtle improvements can restore your sense of calm and control, making a real difference in how you greet each new day. While there's no need for panic or alarm, there is a value in acting sooner rather than later. The longer you wait, the more entrenched certain habits or unaddressed health conditions can become. Taking small steps right now, whether that's scheduling a blood pressure check, adding a daily walk, or cutting back on high-sodium foods, helps pave the way for better health outcomes a month, a year, or even a decade down the line. Try to picture yourself implementing these changes in a manageable way. Maybe you start by talking to a friend about forming a walking group once or twice a week. You might also keep a simple food diary to note how your body and ears feel after different meals, or ask your doctor at your next appointment for a referral to an audiologist. If you've been feeling any sense of dread or hopelessness about that relentless ringing in your ear, let this be an encouraging reminder that there are multiple avenues for relief. If you're ready to take the next step, choose an action that resonates with you. Maybe it's as quick as looking at your medications and writing down questions for your pharmacist. Or perhaps you'll do a quick internet search for healthy, low-sodium recipe ideas. If you want to dive deeper, call your healthcare provider and set up a more thorough checkup. Each level of engagement is valid, and each one moves you closer to relieving that constant buzz and supporting your circulatory health. Above all, remember that you've spent decades navigating life's ups and downs, and you have the resilience to make these choices for yourself. This isn't about chasing perfection or guaranteeing the tinnitus will vanish overnight. Rather, it's about honoring your body's signals, responding with the wisdom you've gained, and protecting your well-being so you can continue enjoying the life you've built. I hope this conversation has shed some new light on why your ears might be ringing and what you can do about it from the inside out. You've already taken a meaningful step by learning more. May each subsequent step bring you greater peace, health, and confidence as you move forward.